Mm-hmm. 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 Come on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ah.
This is PZ Music.
Welcome to Backdoor Bills Talk. I'm your host, Tommy, filling in for Jason. By the way, guys, this show is being moved to Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. But tonight I will be filling in. And joining me is Mr. Mikey, also my co-host on Mafia Sports Report on Mondays and Friday Night Lights and Fantasy Kingdom. What's up,
What's
Mikey?
going on, brother?
Not much. Yeah, same old, same old. I was glad to talk to you. I talked to you about 4 hours ago. It was awesome.
Yeah, that sounds all right.
And joining me is our really special guest from Alaska, Mr. Sonny, who's back, who's on a better camera device today because he's using his phone. He is getting a new computer, so he will be back stronger than ever next week. Mr. Sonny from Alaska, how are you, buddy?
Doing good. Thank you for having me. I'm greatly appreciative of the opportunity.
Man, you're welcome, man. I'm glad you're back, man. I am glad you are back. All right, gentlemen. Rough week last week against the Jets. Mr. Mikey missed it. He was on an airplane. He didn't miss much. I got to be honest with you. He missed a shit show. I mean, honestly, if you were to miss last year's game against the Jags, same shit. Same thing. We scored a few more points. Other than that, total shit show. There was nothing, absolutely nothing that I came out of that game going, wow, you know what? That guy played really good, or that, hey, we should have won. No, like everybody disappointed. Mikey, would you agree with that? Everybody? I'm sure you watched the game back or watched some of it.
I watched it in a condensed version. I refused to sit through that whole shit show because between what I heard from you and some other people, I'm like, okay, I just don't want to stress myself out like that. I don't need that extra stress in my life.
Right.
So from what I saw, what comes out of that game is where we've been exposed. Start with Johnson back there. The two losses we have are the two starts he has. Other than that, so maybe it's time to put Dean Marlowe back there and see what he can do because that final 7-minute drive that they had was aided by 3 missed tackles by Johnson.
It was. I definitely think it's time for now. Mind you, I don't think they could have put Marlowe in right away, but maybe they could have. It's not like he doesn't know the system. He's been here. He was here first 3 years, like 3 years, under the same exact philosophy, under the same head coach, under the same coordinator. It's not like we lost Frazier and it's a different system. Like, I think we could have probably played him, but maybe they just wanted to try out Jaquan one more game. You know what I mean? Or maybe just give Marlowe his reps and practice one more week. I don't know. But I think this weekend, I'm hoping at least, Marlowe takes Jaquan's place. And I like Jaquan, but I just don't see him as a starting caliber safety. I think he's more of a good backup guy. Yeah, special teams, good backup guy. If, for a series or two, if a player goes down, or even one game. But man, more than one game, it's rough sailings, man, with that guy. Especially he's back there with Hamlin, a second-year guy. I mean, it's not like he's back there with a vet. Now, let's say Jaquan was back there with Hyde. I would say,
Hyde,
I would say, okay, you know what? He might make a few mistakes, but they'll make up for it. They'll help him out back there. Hamlin's not going to help out Jaquan Johnson. They're helping each other right now, and it's It's rough. Sonny, what'd you think about the game, man? I'm sure you watched.
I watched the game, and the thing that alarmed me the most was missing Matt Milano in the linebacker spot. He's and side to side, he's quick, and we really missed Jordan Poyer. They ran all over us, and like I can agree with you guys that Jaquan Johnson's just not ready, and I'd rather have more faith in Dean Marlowe back there. Since Poyer's not going to go this Sunday, I would love to see Marlowe get the start because he does know the system. It's not like you said, he's been in, the system for 3 years, so he knows. So the thing that I want to look forward to tomorrow is the run game, how we're going to stop the run because we're going against a really good running back. But yeah, tough game.
Yeah, Daniel. Sorry, I don't know what happened after that. There, Daniel coming in. D. Marlowe was always quality depth, solid safety. Would like to see him on the field soon. I have a feeling he will. But we'll find out. I mean, we will see. But something's got to change. And Scott in the building, and I just saw Scott about an hour ago on the AFC Shakedown.
Scott, absolutely. Good God, put this man out there.
I don't know. I still don't know.
We have no
he's going to play.
Kyer this week. Kyer's not going to play. We just elevated Xavier Rhodes, so chances are we're not going to see Trey again this week.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point of elevating Rhodes?
Exactly. I knew it. I don't know if there's a setback, Mikey, but I think this is a slower process than they thought it would be.
Killing me, Smalls. Killing me.
I think this is. I think they had better expectations in the offseason that he might maybe even be ready by week 2 or something, right? And I think they are realizing that every player is different on this kind of injury. Every player responds differently, their body, how they come back. And I think Trey's taking like I said, a little longer than expected. I do. I don't think so. I don't think so, Mikey. Every player is different. And he hasn't even had really good contact in practice yet. He's not really. I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's a maybe you're right. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe they don't want to risk it just yet because they paid him. He's a quality player. He's young. You get him out there, it's too quick, and he re-injures it. You know what I mean? That's a real setback. I don't know. Yeah, Sonny, go for it.
I actually tore my ACL in my left knee playing basketball, and I can kind of attribute to what Trey White is going through with the rehabilitation process. And the main thing that before I got back on the court was it's a psychological thing. When you're out there, you think about it even when you don't think about it because you think you're still injured and you go out and do a cut. You're comfortable doing cuts, but when you're out there actually starting to be in the process of playing the actual game, it's in the back of your mind that I got a certain it's a psychological thing for me. I had to get over that, whether I my first jump or my first really quick move on my knee or a fast cut. You're thinking about it all the time because you remember the pain and the agony of going through the rehabilitation process. So I'm with the Bills. Trey White, if he's not ready, don't put him out there. Make sure that he's 100% ready. And I think half of it, at least a quarter of it, has to do with his psychological. It's a psychological thing more than ever. That's how I was favoring it. Even though it's healed, I was still trying to favor it on my cuts, when I first started cutting. So I can kind of, attribute to what Trey White is going through. And if he's not ready, don't put him out there.
Yeah, no, 110% correct.
Then why? So here's my question.
It's physical and mental.
So here's my question to you. If because now we're going into week 9, he's activated after week 4. Why did we activate him so early? Because we could have put him back on the PUP list for another 4 weeks.
Because they probably thought maybe they thought, like I said before, it's very possible they thought he was coming, like that he would be able to go at that certain time. You know what I mean? Maybe they thought he'd be ready mentally and physically. And I don't think it panned out that way. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they thought
it didn't pan out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I think
10.
Yeah, but I warned everybody. I did come on initially and say that I don't see him playing until after the bye. I was right. I definitely was right. However, like I said, I don't know if it's a setback. And even if there was, I don't know if they would be brutally honest and be like, oh, there's a setback going on. Like, I just think it's something physically and mentally right now that they're not comfortable with him having him out there just yet.
That goes back to my question. Why did they waste a
Because it's very possible, Mikey, that he was looking good at one point in camp, or maybe through his rehab, and maybe he did have some type of setback that they're not saying, and it was already by then they already had activated him back.
And that's fine. Throw him on back on the IR now.
They could, but you don't know this. Yeah, but you don't know. I'm not in the trainer room, and I'm not with. Obviously, we're not doctors, and we're not. So I have no idea if it could be anything from Trey going, "Hey, give me one more week." You don't know that. We're just going by why aren't the coaches throwing him out there? I'm just saying. It could be him. Maybe it is, or maybe it's McDermott going, "Hey, what do you feel? 80%? Nope, can't have it." You know what I mean? You're 90%. Let's give you one more week. I'm just saying. Yeah. Right. You know McDermott too. Game. Now McDermott will get quarterback. He'll get Allen out there at 75%. Right. You know what?
That's a perfect lead in to show me to Scott's question. I can't believe J17's playing. What's your thoughts? Risk.
I don't think it's a risk.
We talked about this.
Just because
Matt Barkley wasn't elevated doesn't mean Josh is starting tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
What if he's the backup?
Yep.
Right. I brought this up, Scott, in the AFC Shakedown. I don't think you were on there, but listen, no one's talking about it. But just because they said he's going to be there and active doesn't mean he's starting. And this wouldn't be like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Like the Dolphins did it this season with Bridgewater. Mm-hmm. And he wound up coming in because the quarterback got hurt. But what does that say? They say
too in New Orleans.
Yes, Jameis too. So that tells you everything you need to know. One, about Matt Barkley, that they do not trust him at all if he had to come in. And two, that also says they maybe don't trust Keenum either if the game's on the line and they really need a good drive. If let's say Keenum is average to below average throughout the game, but we're still in the game and we have a 2-minute drive. I'm very curious if they put Allen in. I would assume they would, because listen, me and Mikey talked about this before the show started. We're 6-2 now, and I'm not concerned. However, 6-2 can turn into 6-3 and 6-4 and 6-5 really quick. It goes by very fast. And before you know it, we are on the bottom and we are praying things get better. We do not want to be that. We are right now leading the AFC East. We are now first in the AFC. You do not want to give up games. And if there's a way to win a game, even if Allen is there as a backup, then do it. Because we're not doctors. None of us are. We don't know the severity of the elbow injury. It could be a lot less, it may not be as worse as everyone initially thought, right? Josh Allen, matter of fact, was out in practice without even an elbow brace on. So how bad is it really? Now, here's what I think, in my opinion. I think Mikey, Sonny, he's going to probably play through a little bit of pain for the rest of the season. He's going to have a lingering kind of pain and take care of it in the offseason, whatever needs to be taken care of. If the elbow needs to be cleaned out or if it's just rest, whatever needs to happen. But I think Allen winds up playing the rest of the season with a little bit of pain, and they're going to probably hit him with some shots, and he's good to go. That's how I see it going. I could be wrong, but I don't see it as like, oh, if Allen's out there, he's going to make it worse. And I don't think it's that kind of an injury. And it just based on watching it happen, he wasn't in agony pain. He kind of like shook it off. It was almost like a stinger kind of reaction when you're like, Now, I'm not saying it wasn't bad. What happened?
Funny bone.
Right. But it was kind of like, and he wound up throwing a 70-yard pass right after on the dot, right? Dropped a rate. By the way, Gabe Dave should have had it.
Yeah, Drop was right. He dropped in the basket as Gabe Davis, had a hole
right in the chest. Hit him right in the chest. Hit him right there. He didn't catch it.
Daniel, is he? Like, we will find out possibly, but I question that.
I don't. I think Josh is starting tomorrow.
Right. I do too.
I think so too.
I just don't know if this is I honestly don't know how to answer that anymore because I thought he was, but every time he's come in, now mind you, he's coming with backups, but he's still. I've seen backups play with backups and they look better than Keenum. I'm just saying. Like even Barkley came in with backups and looked better than Keenum. I'm being honest with you. Same thing. There's no excuse. You got to you either have it or you don't. And Keenum looked pretty bad.
Backup. He looks great holding the clipboard, and that's where he's
yeah, exactly. He looks great talking to Josh on the side. He looks awesome doing like when he plays like funny videos, as a disguise guy. Those are great. But as a quarterback on this team,
team morale.
Yeah,
he's
right. Yeah.
He's the Papa Bear. He's the Papa Bear of the room.
Go ahead, Sonny.
The thing that I'm most concerned about is Josh from Josh. And we know Josh is a strong player. We've seen him play through it when he, against the Raiders. I remember, was it last year against the Raiders in LA, Las Vegas, where he was hurt on that play where he hurt his same arm and he still played through it. Josh is a creature, and sometimes he's got to tell himself that he's not ready, but he's so competitive that he's stubborn, and I remember he's just one of those players where, like Michael Jordan, even though he's got the flu, you ain't telling him he's not going to play because he's going to play because he wants to play. He loves the game, and Josh was the same way. But my thing for Josh, if I were to say anything to Josh, was Josh, if you're not right, please don't play because we need you. We got bigger plans for you down the road. This is one game where you can rest and take your arm. And Josh probably look at me and say, "You stupid, I'm playing." That's just who he is. And
sometimes
I hope that he makes a good decision.
Himself.
Yeah, but I think the coaches would know.
That.
But the coaches during the week when they're having, I'm sure he's done drills. He's maybe not like done a heavy practice, but I'm sure they had him throw. In the basket, whatever, in that net. I'm sure they've had him do some throws that they could tell. They're not idiots. Like, he either has a bad shoulder or he doesn't. Or a bad elbow. You know what I mean? Like, if his passes are coming up short, wobbly, if he's flexing his arm after a throw, if he's showing pain in his face, I'm sure the coaches would not just throw him out there because they want to win one game. You know what I mean? Like, that's not – I'm pretty sure they want to do that. So exactly. So I'm really thinking what they saw on Friday. They said, "Hey, we think he's good to go," and I'm sure Josh said it. Same. Is he 100%? No.
I don't think anybody is though.
Right? No. Of course. No, exactly. Nobody's at 100. But is he good enough to play? Yeah, I think he's fine. But we'll see. Like I said, we'll see how the game unfolds. But I just think right now it's the talk of the week, and it's after just like the Ken Dorsey when he slammed his clipboard and all that. We'll go to rest. He'll have a good bounce back game, and all that elbow talk will be dismissed, in my opinion, after this week. That's how I see it going, and we won't even talk about it again. Scott, honestly.
I didn't think that the Dolphins would put Tua back in after he stumbled, but we sometimes know the coaches aren't as smart as we would like them to be.
Yeah, but the Dolphins are a different team than the Bills. They got idiots over there. We don't have really idiots over there.
Josh Allen Tua is not on the same level as Josh Allen. Josh Allen is better than Tua. But
it's also way different. Yeah. It's also a way different injury. Like it'd be like if Allen on that play, his arm got broken and they played him the next week. You know what I mean? Like clearly he had a concussion and they threw him right back out there. Like, you know what I mean? Like two different things, Yeah.
And Daniel, I don't disagree with you on this. I was just throwing out another option.
Yeah. No, I know that Allen will start, but
yeah,
it's not impossible for that to happen. I'm just saying, like, I totally agree with Scott and all and Mike. Like, Josh is starting, but I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I would not be like totally in shock if he doesn't start, is what I'm saying. Like, it could be. It very well, you never know. Or, and me and Mikey were talking, depending how the game goes, maybe Allen sees limited time. Maybe he's pulled a little earlier than he would normally be pulled. Very possible, depending how the defense is playing, depending how much we're up, depending how the flow of the game is going. You know what I mean? I definitely could see Keenum coming in for a quarter. Depending, like I said, once again, how much are we up at that point? So we'll see how the game goes. But as of right now, I just think it was a little bit blown out of proportion. And that's what media does. And that's what we do too. We come on here, we talk about it. Look, we've been talking about it for 15 minutes. So, let's see what happens on Sunday when he plays. I think if he plays good, you'll hear about it one more time on how great he played with a hurt arm, and then it won't be talked about again after next week. I promise you. If he plays good. Now, if he comes out and he has a bad game and his passes are short or overthrown or he's wincing, then the story's going to really go long because then it's going to be
then it's going to change. What the hell's wrong with the Bills and why are they putting him out there?
Why would they risk him? Right.
That's then the narrative.
Right. Then we got a whole shit show.
Do we have the right guys in place calling the shots?
Right.
The narrative.
But I will say this. I want to talk, since we're still talking about the Jets game, we're going to get on the Vikings game. The one thing I will say, even though it was a shit show and everything went bad. And Mikey, I know you missed the game, but I like when I say that everything went bad. Tyler Bass missing 55 yards. Now, listen, back in the day, I'd be like, hey, 55 yards. That's a deep kick. Kickers are kicking 60s like they're fucking chip shots now. Like, he should have made that, okay? There was no win. Like, I mean, dude, they showed the flag post just
was it bad?
Chilling.
Was it missed bad? Or it just pushed?
Missed bad, yeah, to the right. Okay. Not terribly off, but pretty off. He wasn't close. Then he kicked it out of bounds, second time this year on a kickoff. Can't stand that. What are you doing? Right? Like that's how the game went, right? So right there, he gets an F, right, in my book. Can't kick it out of bounds. You're giving the ball at the 40. And you missed a field goal earlier. The defense, the tackling. But I will say that one thing that sticks out, and it's a problem because everything that I just talked about can be fixed. The tackling, right? Just get back on your tackling drills, right? We didn't have the problem week 1 through 6, right? Our run defense, top of the line, the best. Now all of a sudden we can't. That can be fixed. What can't be fixed? The offensive line can't be fixed. It is what we are. And now you're seeing Josh Allen get hurt because of the offensive line. He's getting banged up in the backfield, and it's the hits that he doesn't see coming. The hit to his shoulder when he threw it is because a fucking guy was in the backfield like this, right on him. Mm-hmm. And that offensive line, if they don't shape up, you will see Allen hurt. And he will be, depending on how bad, it could be.
That's Questenberry who got beat.
Yeah, listen, that offensive line they have to play better.
Spencer Brown.
They got to fix them. Well, Spencer Brown's not even playing. I mean, Spencer Brown is
back.
Yeah.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back, but I'm saying he didn't play last
game. Yeah.
Questenberry was in there.
If I were Ken Dorsey, I would switch up the game plan and get the ball out of Josh's hands 1, 2, 3 seconds. Short slant and try to beat the defense that way.
So here's the problem with that, Sonny, though. You got 2 problems with that. It could be done, but here's the deal. McKenzie hasn't been what we thought he was going to be, which would be the Cole Beasley role. Get it out of your hands. There's Cole Beasley during the slot. And our offensive line can't block for shit. So if you go to a screen pass to Singletary, what are we really picking up? 3 yards, 4, 2? It's been, you got to have a reliable source for Allen to kick the ball out of quickly. Now, you could put Diggs in the slot, right? But then you're taking away Diggs on the outside. Gabe Davis, you could put him, but he's been dropping passes lately. So who do you rely on? I would say for now, you put Khalil Shakir in there. Sure-handed. He's a guy you can go to short. He can pick up yards after catch. He's shown to probably be one of our better yards after catch receivers when he has the ball in his hand. And then I would also bring up OBJ. I would sign him, get him ready.
Because need that. Of course. I'd love to have him.
Now.
We need him.
Yeah. Mikey, what's your thoughts on what Sonny said about getting the ball out of Josh's hand quicker?
I talked about this a little bit last night with Jarek on Friday Night Lights. It's not a Ken Dorsey thing. This is a Josh Allen thing. Josh Allen's Early in the year, he hit a lot of those 3, 5, 6, 7
Yep.
thinking dunks all the way down. Now he's looking for that 20, 25-yard shot. I think it was Baldy who showed it. And I can't remember if it was him, but it was one of the shows on the national media networks that showed. He had Dawson Knox for 8 yards, and he tried to throw a 25-yard pass on 3rd and 7.
Right. He
That's a
started
Josh
doing
Allen
that.
decision issue rather than after his big aired out game in week 2.
He started really doing that in that one game. What game was that, Mikey, where you were kind of complaining, but he hit Gabe Davis early? I forgot what game that was.
Oh, that was against Pittsburgh. And they just kept throwing deep
Pittsburgh.
shots.
Right. That's when we kind of got back into that deep throwing. Because week 1 through, I forget what it was, we were doing
a lot of 12.
Yeah.
12,
4, 6, 5, 7.
Mhm.
I mean, we were kind of like, and then we go for the 20-yard, 15-yard pass, 30-yard.
I was actually live in SoFi watching that game against the Rams, and that's what Josh Allen was. He was clicking them because he knew that Aaron Donald was there, that great defensive line. He was getting the ball out quick, and it was working. But I could, now I see, Isaiah McKinney hasn't been that guy, so we need to. I love the Shakir move with Tommy.
Yeah,
and not only that, and that's a great point. That week 1 game, getting the ball out quick, but now it's like you got 2 things working against him when he's holding the ball long. One, offensive line can't hold up, so the D line's in his face. So if they don't get to him, they're swatting the ball down. Right, a lot of Josh Allen's passes are swatted down. I hate it. But that's the offensive line. Right in his 6'5" quarterback should not get his ball swatted. That's because they're right that close because they're pushing the line back and Allen's holding the ball a little longer, trying to make the bigger play, which would be great if we had a better line. But unfortunately, Josh Allen has to either get on the move or create a pass. And I think it's starting to catch up on us now because I know you missed the game, Mikey, but the defensive line's getting home now more than before. They're making that sack on Allen now. The sacks that they weren't, where Allen was trying to play, Superman, getting away, making a great move, buying time. But now they're getting there a little quicker and they're getting to Allen a little faster. And Allen's getting called up. And now we're losing 7 yards, 8 yards on a sack, right? Or Allen's throwing a bad pass because he's trying to make something out of nothing. That's on the offensive line. Now, you can blame a little on Allen too, right? Because sometimes there is I've seen, man, I'm like, the guy's wide open. Why is he not going to Singletary? He's right in the middle, right there. Now, that is on Allen sometimes. But the offensive line in general has been
bad,
disappointing. And the pass blocking is what's really concerning now. Because before it was just run blocking. I'm like, hey, okay, we can't run. All right, it is what, at least we can pass block. But now it's like the pass blocking is starting to really become a problem. And that is why we're seeing Allen take some hits. We're starting to see Allen getting some bumps and bruises that he normally wouldn't. And we're seeing Allen scramble more or like get out, like run for his life. We're seeing Allen make mistakes that he normally wouldn't make, like he was making in 2018 and 2019. Because why? Because he's trying to make something happen. Can't be that way. Got to fix it. And Cromer, we brung Cromer in, who's a top offensive line coach in this league, been for a long time. And I think, bro, I'll be honest with you guys. I think we've been patching this offensive line up, putting Band-Aids on, and the bleeding is getting worse. And I don't think Band-Aids are helping anymore.
Yeah, and we talked about this last night at length, me and Jarek. As you saw, Kansas City rebuild their offensive line, drafted a young center, a young guard. Outside of Cody Ford in the 2nd round and then Spencer in the 3rd, those are the only 2 in the last 5 years that they've taken, with a premium pick.
Yep.
At what point? We took 3 DNs in the first 2 rounds, and back to back years, but we didn't take any offensive linemen. At what point are we going to start investing and protecting Josh?
Bro, I'll be honest with you. The last time they even worried about that or even went after somebody was Mitch Morse in 2019, I believe it was, when they got a center.
We got Saffold this offseason, who was supposed
Yeah,
to
but
be.
no, I'm talking about
Saffold,
like
yeah.
when we, yeah, but that's Saffold is a shell of himself. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Mitch Morse, when we signed Mitch Morse, he wasn't a shell of himself. Mitch Morse wasn't an aging center at that time. Mitch Morse was what, a top 3 center at a position at the time.
He's the number
matter of
one
fact,
time.
yeah, matter of fact, yeah, you're correct. At the time, we gave him the highest paid contract for a center. So we really, at that time, I'm like, okay, maybe we are trying to help Allen out, but we did nothing after. We had,
You forgot about Wyatt Teller.
But Teller wasn't. But Teller, that's a mistake, and I don't think Teller was. Teller wasn't even supposed to be good initially.
I don't think Teller becomes Teller if he stays with Buffalo.
Yeah,
remember he left us and went to Bill Callahan, who's one of the best offensive line coaches in
maybe
football.
if Cromer was around, maybe a different story, but not at the time when OG Johnson was here. Definitely not, because clearly Bobby Johnson didn't even see the potential in him by telling Brandon Beane to get rid of him. So that tells you everything you need to know there. Also getting guys like Feliciano, right? Re-signing him. Guys like, getting Darrell Williams wasn't terrible, but re-signing him didn't work out. Wound up cutting him. Quentin Spain, re-signing him and cutting.
Ford.
Yeah, Cody Ford. Like, I mean, there's so many mistakes. If there's anything and I love Brandon Beane, but if there's anything that we can really go, he's done a poor job, I would say his offensive line. He's really dropped the ball when it comes to protecting the guy that you love, and Josh Allen, your $250 million man, your franchise quarterback, the guy that's supposed to lead you to the Super Bowl. You got to protect him. And if you have a bunch of fillers just coming in for 1 year to fill in for, for potential another guy the next season, it's never going to work. You're not even like all these guys that are coming for 1 season, 2 maybe, they're not even getting like familiar with each other because it's like cycling, right? Like a line has to sometimes gel with each other. No cohesion, right? You got a new guy now next year. Now Dion has this guy. Now next year it won't be Saffold. It'll be a new guy, right? And now Dion has to get used to him, and Mitch Morse has to get used to the next guy. And then I got to say too, I like Ryan Bates, but I think Ryan Bates is best used as a guy that can come in at any position. I don't like him as a starting.
Would be a better center.
Yes, I'll agree with you there. I will say that. If they give Bates some reps in the offseason and prepare him, I'll agree with you. I would like to see him maybe at center, but I'm telling you, Mikey, right? Like I'm not saying he's playing awful, but it's just not. You could tell he's not
a better left guard than right guard.
Yeah, and then Spencer Brown, it's like, bro, you got to stay healthy, man. Like I think he has a good ceiling, but man, if you can't stay healthy, I mean, he can have the highest ceiling in the world. Like, what, you got to be on the field, right? And Questenberry's a good quality veteran player, but he's not the answer. He'll be here 1 year. He's done.
There's a reason why he only signed a 1-year deal to come here. He wasn't offered a big time deal elsewhere.
Yeah, 100%.
He's average depth.
Right. Hey, Thomas Jefferson. You know what's funny? And if this is a real name, that is my real name, by the way, guys. I know people don't know my real name, but that is my actual name.
Really?
Yeah, so that's kind of funny. So Thomas Jefferson, I go by Tommy on here, but that is my actual name. That is kind of funny.
Wow.
Daniel agrees with us. He thinks Bates will be the long-term center play for Morris after he retires or leaves. So Sonny, let me ask you this question. Looking at the offensive line, would you prefer Beane to do it through free agency or start to draft some young guys and take some shots?
Well, there's goods and bads about how you're going to go about addressing the offensive line. Like if I was Brandon Beane, this team is not built of rookies anymore. It's built of veterans now. And, it's all about continuity. Like going back to the Jim Kelly days with Kent Hall and John Fina, how they just had continuity every year. They had the same guys coming back and they knew, they understood the game plan. They knew. But when you're trying to bring in young rookies like Spencer Brown, who I believe he has all the potential to be a really great lineman. It's a boom or bust. We either go through the draft and draft a couple of young guys and build them into the system, or we go out and chase these free agents who have to learn the system and learn the playbook and all that stuff. But it's I'm concerned about our offensive line moving forward, but I really like Spencer Brown. I like Deion Dawkins, and I think Roger Saffold was an okay signing. But going back to your question, right? It's really tricky. But if it were me, if I could find a good lineman, coming out, in the second or third round, I'd like they did the D line last 2 years, drafting all D line. Next 2 years, drafting the offensive line. We see which one pans out, but
So far,
there's also cornerback with.
Yeah, so far they haven't nailed the defensive ends. I mean, Rousseau looks like he's going to be something big, but Basham and Epinesa, like Shaq's overtaking them for DN3.
Yep.
Once again, Epinesa has taken another step backwards, I guess. Not a huge step backwards, but he is just very underperforming, let's just say. And I mean, listen, he was a second round pick, right? But he's still a second round pick, and you got to, he's not living up to that second round pick, and he's just. I really had better expectations for AJ, and I just don't know if it's going to work out. I'll be honest with you. He may wind up being like a Cody Ford situation where we wind up trading him for something. As far as Boogie Basham goes, it's here too. I'm not going to really dig on him too much yet. Shaq is a veteran. He's played on this team before. Maybe they're just having a little bit more faith in him and what he's capable of doing. So we'll get Boogie, and I think Boogie deserves yeah, exactly. So I think Boogie deserves another season before we ride him too tough on that. But AJ, there's no more excuses. Like, we've given him up enough, just like Cody. Like, you run out eventually. And I think the team ran out of excuses for Cody, and that's why they got rid of him.
Another second round pick just
faded away. I mean, but that happens. This is the NFL. Not everywhere. There's first round picks that don't work out. You got you got picks that are like Baker Mayfield, who are now behind XFL players. I mean, it happens. Sam Darnold, who's a third
XFL MVPs, get it right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So it happens, guys. But I will go back on the line. This offseason is very, I think, a very important one for Brandon Beane. It's enough of the defense. We get it. We have a good I think our defense is stacked. I got to be honest with you. I think right now is time to concentrate on the offensive line. I know it's not pretty, and I know people want receivers and running back, but it all gets controlled up front, guys. If that line is bad, all those guys look bad because the ball ain't getting to them. Or the running back ain't getting going. He ain't going anywhere. So you got to fix that line. You got to. Just like the D-line that we corrected in the offseason, and you see it's a much better D-line. Everyone's like, yeah, damn, look at that. That's what I want to say next season when it comes to the offensive line. Damn, we got a mean-ass offensive line. That's a big-ass offensive line. That's what we need. We got to, man, our offensive line is soft. I got to be real. Like, Saffold, I really expected much more out of him, and I'm not saying he's bad. It's just you could see the aging. You could see why they signed him to a one-year deal. He's a good player. He's a good solid vet. I like him in there, but he's not the answer. They know that. That's why they gave him a one-year deal. He's not the answer at that position. But they need to go find one. They can't go in the offseason and sign another aging guy from the Colts or something.
Tommy, weren't we saying the same thing last year? And then they went out and did it again.
We were preaching the same thing. And it's like, when are you going to learn? And I mean, I love that Beane picked up Cromer. I like that. I do. I think that's a start, but you got to have the personnel. Like, he can't make wonders happen with that. That's, this is who we have. So anyways, let's move forward.
Got to give him the lemons for him to make the lemonade.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Right. He's not a wizard. He's not going to puff and wand, and this offensive line's going to.
If he doesn't have the right ingredients, it's hard to make something successful. Or
no, 100%. So let's move forward, guys. Vikings this weekend. So the story all weekend.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead. This
is fantastic.
Yeah, go ahead.
Steve Lynn comes in and says the Bills have missed on second and third round picks almost every year since McDermott. Then he lists them: Zay Jones, Zach Moss, AJ, Boogie, Cody.
Weird, right?
Bernard.
Well, but, Bernard's up in it. You can't say Bernard's a miss yet.
Yeah, exactly.
1 year.
I don't think you can put
you can't put Boogie either.
Yeah, but some of those other ones, collection of busts. But you know where it's really saved them when drafting?
Late rounds.
Getting on those fourth, fifth, and sixth
Yep.
round guys. Has made up
Yeah.
for
Yep.
missing on those second and third round guys.
And our first round have been on too. And
Yeah.
that's the very most important.
When you hit on your first, fourth, fifth, and sixth round guys, you can
Yeah.
miss out on your second and third.
Right. Like
Yeah.
put it this way, Steve, like you're obviously here, you're a Bills fan, you're Bills Mafia. You're not paying attention. You're not a Dolphin guy, you're not a Jets guy. You're not going back and seeing what they drafted in every round. If you do, you'd be shocked on how many picks are cut, not around, traded, didn't work out, whatever, a shit ton, right? A matter of fact, the safety for the Raiders just got cut. He was a first round pick. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or was he a second round, Mikey?
Yeah, no, he's a first rounder.
He was a first round pick. Yeah, he was a first round pick.
He's part of that Mayock draft where he had like 4 first round picks, and none of them are on the team.
Right.
Now.
Right. So there's my point. So I wouldn't. I know it sucks and it's weird and it's ironic that it happens to be that round that the picks aren't working. But you got to look at the whole picture, the whole draft, like everything. So you could take those little bit of players that you picked out and then take the rest of the players and let's see how it all pans out, because I guarantee you there's a lot more good than the few that just didn't work out. Trust me. Brandon Beane, to his credit, has really had good drafts. Me and Mikey went through this, and the offseason, he has nailed his draft picks pretty good. Like, he has a high percentage, if you do the percentage-wise, of who has worked out, who hasn't worked out. He's on the winning side of that, and there's a lot of GMs that are not. Trust me. There's a lot of people that aren't happy with their GMs today. I am happy with mine. I just don't like the fact that he hasn't addressed the offensive line. It's the only thing that I would say that's he's at fault at. And I think he'll eventually fix that. He has to. But yeah, back. Go ahead, Mikey.
No, I was to say, sorry, I didn't mean to take you down a rabbit hole, but when I saw that from Steve,
all good.
Because he makes a very solid point.
Yeah, no, 100%. Maybe it's just a weird, odd thing that round. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what to tell you.
Well,
but
let him figure that bad boy out and see how we do in our drafts then.
Yeah.
What, Josh learns something new every season, right? Brandon Beane takes the growth mindset as well.
Daniel makes a good point. Motor was a third round pick, and Motor's been very good for his shit. And Spencer Brown, the story's still out on him. I think he can be good.
They traded.
So is Knox. You're right.
Up.
So he's had it. I forgot about him in 2019. Was it 2019 or 2020? 2020, I think. Right? No, 2019.
2019.
Right? Okay.
They traded back up into the third.
You're right. They traded up for him. I forgot about that. Motor, and then it was Knox right after. Yep. So not every third round has been bad. Very good. I'm glad you
missed on more than he normally misses on
the third. Correct. All right. So Vikings game. So this whole week, what's the story been? The story's been Josh Allen. The story's been Jordan Poyer. I will say the Jordan Poyer elbow is really bad looking.
Man. Oh, that was horrible.
Like, that's concerning. Like, the Josh Allen thing, I don't know why I'm not that concerned. I just feel like he'll be all right. And plus, look at it. He's not even in a brace. Jordan Poyer's injury, that's a problem. I think that is worse than I think they expected it to be. He had that injury early.
It's worse than they reported it was. It looks worse than
100, bro. I think he had that injury. Yeah, he had that injury in the offseason. And I think he took that brace off too early. And I think when he had that happen, when he went that arm tackle, not wearing that brace, I think it really fucked him up. I really do. I think that was a mistake. And that might have been on Poyer, by the way. Poyer might have took it off, saying, hey, I don't like it on, whatever. And that might have been a mistake that he's going to now regret, because that looks bad, bro. I don't know how long that – I wish we had the doctor on here. Oh, by the way, speaking of the doctor, I want to say congratulations. He had a baby boy last weekend, I believe he said. So I want to congratulate Kyle Trimble on that, because he was going to come on, but I'm like, bro, you got go be a dad. So congratulations. I know if he's listening or not. Either way, guys, banged up Bills. He's the doc, our Buffalo doc. Congratulate him on Twitter, please, because he's a good guy. Friend of the show. But anyways, so they showed the Poyer elbow injury. Man, that looks bad. Who else? Tremaine Edmonds winded up being on with an ankle. Was it an ankle, Mikey? What's going on with Edmonds?
A groin and heel.
A groin. I
Yep,
apologize.
groin and heel, and his heel.
Right. Right. So we'll see. A groin injuries are tricky, guys. He may not play. That is a tricky injury. We know Gregory Rousseau has a high ankle sprain. You know what that means?
He's
2
out.
3 weeks. 2-3 weeks. So he's out. Who else is ruled out of this game? Poyer, obviously.
Just Poyer and Rousseau were ruled out.
Right.
The two questionables were Rousseau and Allen, and Kyer Elam.
What about
Kyer?
Doubtful.
He
was doubtful, and he didn't practice at all this week.
Kyer's not going to play if he didn't practice, and he's doubtful. That's an indication of everything. So I'm guessing we'll have Benford in and Cam. Is that correct? Or Xavier Rhodes? Possibly?
No, Jackson.
Xavier.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dane Jackson.
Yeah,
right.
Dane Jackson will be one, and I'm Benford.
And then they called Rhodes up. Right, and they called Rhodes up. Okay. Rhodes. We'll see. He's been out of the game a while, guys. So
maybe they stick him at safety.
Yeah. Hey, I wouldn't. You know what?
Safety, yeah.
Well, we'll see. I wouldn't mind it, but I got to see it because if he got hurt quickly in practice when it's game time, I'm very curious how he plays when it comes down to game time. Because I saw who do we have last year that came in as a veteran? He just did not look good. From Carolina. Mikey, what was his name?
It was Josh Norman. It was it wasn't last year, it was the year before.
The year before. My God, guys. That was bad. Like he was not good. So I would expect to say like Xavier Rhodes will probably give what Norman gave. Now putting him at safety, maybe, because you don't really need to run like
Madden. It's Madden. If you play corner, you can play safety. It doesn't matter.
right. So we'll see how it plays out, man. But heading into this game, guys. So 1:00 in Buffalo. I got to check the weather. I did not check the weather. I am assuming it's going to be cold because I'm in Michigan and it snowed today. Mikey, can you pull that up real quick? The weather report for that game?
I'm looking.
Okay. I'm going to guess it's going to be in the high 30s because we are 35 degrees here in Michigan and I'm 4 hours away from Buffalo.
It's 42 in Alaska.
There you go. See, I'm colder here than Alaska. So, and we had some light snow. So if I had to guess, it's probably going to be cold and light snow. I could be wrong. Mikey will find out. And windy, by the way, probably a little wind involved. So Sonny, what's your game plan going into this game? If you are Ken Dorsey, what do you want to see as soon as Mikey pulls up the weather?
I got it.
Go ahead. Before you answer that, Sonny.
35 degrees.
I nailed
it. with 11-mile-an-hour winds, possible snow.
Wow.
I mean, I pretty much called the weather report. Okay, so 35 degrees, a little bit of snow.
Accuracy, yeah.
Wind. Okay, Sonny. So now that we confirmed the weather report, you're Ken Dorsey. What's your plan going in this game? So you got a little bit of wind, and 11-mile-per-hour wind is really 15 in Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
And then you got that little bit of snow could turn into a little bit of more snow because it's Buffalo. So what is your game plan if you're Ken Dorsey going into the game? What do you want to see?
Establish the run. I don't care, 3, 2, first, second down. Try to come up with a run game because you're going to need, we need to run the ball in order to, get Josh Allen some open looks and stuff. But I look for Ken Dorsey to come out and try to dominate and find a running game. Let Motor be Motor and open up some holes because he's capable of doing that. We need to run the football. We can't rely on Josh because, he's not 100%. So I look at, if I was Ken Dorsey, I'd be like, okay, what can we do? What run packages can we put together to get Motor, going? And then, James Cook, I would like to see more of James Cook using this game, whether it's in the slot or in the back, catching balls in the back, because he's more than capable of doing it. So I look for them to game plan. If I was Dorsey, I'd game plan and try to establish the run right off the bat. Get Josh Allen a little bit more comfortable. Open up, the play action where play action will be huge. And, that's what we need. We just need to get a little bit of confidence running the football. Like, we've done in the past, there's going back to a couple of games where we did start out running the ball and we ran the ball well and we just got away from it because we're so used to Josh Allen being Josh Allen and, ripping apart the defense, Once we establish the running game, we have success. Don't stop. Keep going. Put your foot on the throat and just keep going. Pedal to the metal. Let's get a run game going. That's my plan if I was Ken Dorsey.
Well, I feel like that we're on like a repeat here. Like
Well,
I want that.
Week.
Right.
I that every week.
I listen, I think Bill's Mafia, I think everybody agrees with you, Sonny. I do. I agree with you. Mikey agrees with you. Like, but it's just not, we have to eventually be realist here and just say it's not gonna happen. Like, for as much as we want it to happen, it's not going to happen because we don't have the offensive line to make it happen. 1, 2, I think, I don't know why, but even if we start running it well early on, we tend to always go away from it. Why? I don't know. That's weird. I thought when Ken Dorsey took over, he would change that up, and he has not. And it's just continuing to be a problem. And yeah, sorry guys, that's somebody in the chat I had to get rid of. So yeah, listen, the running game is what we are. You're never going to see a high amount of runs ever until we fix that offensive line. I think it's also a comfort thing with Ken Dorsey, a comfort thing also with Josh even. I mean, we don't know if Ken Dorsey's calling a run play and Josh is audibling out. You never, I don't know that, because it just seems like, and listen, I'll be real with you guys too. There's times where I'm just like, fuck it, man, just pass. because at times, I would like that too, but Sonny, it's just, I felt like almost like there's things I feel like we can do, we just haven't done when it comes to the run game, like putting Gilliam back there more often. But I just feel like sometimes it's like, I almost feel like we're Ken Dorsey and Josh Allen even are like, hey, we're giving up a play. We're giving up a down, and it's only leading to a yard or two. And I think almost they give up too quick on the run when they should maybe try it a little bit more times. And I get caught up in it too. I'm like, bro, at this time, just pass. But to Sonny, I mean, to your point, man, like that takes away your play action. That changes the defensive scheme up when you're just constantly passing. So what I want to see, and I continue to say it, is I don't mind if you pass heavy, but you got to mix in the run later in the game. And I kind of feel like we totally go away from the run later in the game. It's like we do the opposite. It's so weird. We start off running, and then we totally go away from it. Second half, no runs. And it's like, that's when we should be running the ball. When the defense is back on their feet, thinking we're going to pass, when the defense is tired, that's when you need to start gashing them with some runs. If you're going to do it that way, not early on, right? When the offensive line is getting shredded because the defensive line is on, right? I don't know. That's how I would play it, but I'm not the coordinator. I don't know. I don't care as long as we win. I don't care how they get it done. I'll be honest with you, but they definitely got to start running the ball, I believe, later in games if they're going to be a pass-heavy team. You cannot just totally abandon the run. You have to mix it in at some point, especially in the third and fourth quarters. You have to. And that's where I think the Bills are starting to really struggle because they just do not, they totally abandon it. And teams are just really dialing down on Josh Allen. And it's also too, I got to say this. Our receivers, except for Stephon Diggs, I'm going to put Stephon Diggs to the side. Gabriel Davis, Isaiah McKenzie, and I'll even throw the tight end Dawson Knox, even though it's not all on him because he's been used more for blocking, have been really disappointing this season. I got to be honest with you. I like Gabe Davis. I do. But it's like lately he's a hit or miss receiver, and we expected much better out of Gabe Davis this season. We really did. And it's like one game he is like looking like a top dog, pay this guy now receiver. And then next game, he's looking like maybe we don't need this guy when it comes to giving him an extension because he can't make a fucking catch, because he can't create space. Like last week against the Jets, there was no separation. Josh was running around looking for anyone to break open, nothing. The week before against Green Bay, me and Mikey watched it. Nobody gets open. Nobody. Nothing. Can't find anybody. All of a sudden, route running, gone. Nobody can get open. I don't understand it. I do not get it because they have the talent. And that's why I keep saying, put Shakir in there. Because McKenzie's not holding that spot down. And the thing is, Josh Allen has no security blanket anymore. He had it with Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley is not here anymore. That's a huge loss. I think bigger than we all expected.
Crowder's lost too.
Because Crowder would have been that guy.
Yeah, Crowder would have been that veteran.
100%. And that's why, for all of us that like Shakir, that's why Crowder was starting day one. Because they knew that they needed that veteran slot guy that's been there, done that Josh can rely on. Crowder is not that guy anymore. And that's kind of why me and Mikey have been on this OBJ, signing OBJ, because he's a veteran. He's been there, done that. He's very fucking good when healthy. And Josh needs help. Let's be real. For as deep as we thought we had a wide receiver set, I don't think we're as deep as we, as we thought we were going to be. I'm just being honest. I think our offense has declined a little bit. I really do. And because Gabe Davis is not living up to what we thought he'd be this season, and because Isaiah McKenzie has not, I think, panned out how McDermott and Dorsey thought he would be in slot. And that's a big step backwards. And they need to go out and get OBJ if he's willing to sign and get us some help until we can get that quality guy in the offseason. Because it ain't going to happen now. There's nobody else to fill that role except for, I think, OBJ. That's it.
Would you play Naheem Hines in the slot more? Yeah.
No, he's a running back.
Yeah, exactly. He's a running back, one. And two, that would take – he is in a different – when it comes to the playbook, it's different running backs and receivers in slot. Like that's an even more responsibility. I think I wouldn't want to even – it would take him a while to – that's what the offseason's for. That's what all that's for, getting familiar with. I wouldn't mind him seeing there like on here and there. You know what I mean? But I'd rather just have him at the running back position as a backup to Devin and just getting used to, the running part of it. I actually want to see him in the screen part of the game. I want to see him use it more as a screen pass type of running back. But we'll see. I mean, listen, it's going to take a couple weeks for him to even get the playbook down for running, like what they do as far as when a running back comes in. I don't know, but no slot. No, they're going to have to figure that out. McKenzie's not the answer. Until OBJ signs, if they're not, whatever. Listen. Try Shakir at this point? What's it going to hurt you? McKenzie's giving you nothing. He really is giving you nothing. I don't know, Mikey. What do you think?
No, I don't disagree. I wanted to touch base on Steve Lynn's comment there. What happened to the jet sweeps? What happened to the gadget plays?
Because we're not using.
I get that, but what happens to stepping out, throwing that quick wide receiver out? Like,
I don't know.
Where the easy throws have gone away as the season has gone on.
I don't know. That's why I think McKenzie still could be used. I like McKenzie. Like I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying. Like, I think McKenzie has a role.
Not a everyday slot receiver.
Exactly. I think he has a role on this team. And that's as a gadget type receiver. And that's okay. Every team most teams at least, they have a player like that. And it's okay. And that's all right. But we need a true slot. He's not a true slot, and that's the problem. I do
agree with this from Daniel. He says they must have had such a big role for Crowder. Because the second he got hurt, things changed.
Big time. I agree. I totally agree. I do want to ask you guys something. Sonny and Mikey, because I was thinking about this the other day, and I could be wrong, and I could just be fishing for stuff. But the Buffalo Bills this season, this is the most I've ever seen them do. The players, like podcast and guest appearances on stuff. Josh has the thing with Kyle Brandt. Vaughn has his own podcast. Dion does his own little podcast. Jordan Poyer is that, you think, taking away anything from? And I know it sounds weird, and maybe I'm fishing, but this is the first time they've been on national during the week. Now, normally they'd be whatever they want to do, focusing on football. Do you think it is any way taking away a little bit from them? They're 100% focused on the build up for the week, the game for the week, them going out, doing more appearances on shows, podcasts. I'm just throwing it out there because we've never had this before. And that's the reason why I'm asking. We've never had star players, this many at least, do podcasts and different shows and be committed. I'm not saying that's the answer why we're doing bad. I'm just saying, would you like for them to dial it back and just focus on football?
No, because what that tells me is in the new age, new wave we're in, and the way the digital technology is and the social media platforms and all that, you're going to see more and more of these people. What it tells me is that the Bills have high-profile pieces that we didn't have in the past. Josh Allen's become that guy. Josh Allen still did interviews all week long. He's just now doing them on bigger networks and becoming more seen. Von Miller doing a podcast doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Having the Zach Mosses doing podcasts and some of those other guys doing them, okay, maybe that's taken away from those guys. But some of these guys are so established, I don't think it's, one of those things. And every team has them that's doing it.
I get it. I don't know about every team. I just really, me personally, at this point, I think if I'm a player, I'm just saying, me personally, I'm not saying they can, and I'm not even saying this is affecting them. I'm just saying, me as a player, I think I would be so focused in, because they're not committed to do any of these things. They're committed to do post game and pre-game, and then player interviews when they don't have to do podcasts. They don't have to do any of that. They're paid to do that stuff, right? They do that to make a little bit of extra change on the side. I'm sure they have fun with it.
No, Josh Allen always had to do media throughout the week.
No, that's media. I'm not talking about media. I'm not talking about joining
But you're talking about doing Kyle Brandt.
I'm talking about having your own special little show, doing because that takes time. I mean, I'm not saying, listen, and I'm not even saying that I'm right or about this. I'm just saying, me personally as a player, it's all fun and it's cool if you're winning, but I think if you're kind of losing your way during the season, I don't know. Me personally, I might want to dial it back and just focus on football.
Are they losing their way because they lost one game?
2 games and played bad 2 games in a row.
They lost one early in the
season. They've lost 2 games, but they've also looked bad 2 straight weeks, real bad. And it's not even Mikey. I'm not saying
you're reaching.
Hey, I'm just saying, Mikey, they've looked really bad the last 2 weeks. And I would say, as a player, I would be more focused on football than out there doing
we can
podcasts.
Say that because it doesn't, we don't have to put our lives on hold to do what they're doing.
Thanks, buddy. No, I'm not saying I'm just asking. I was asking the question. I'm not even saying that I'm right. I'm just saying, like, me as a player, I'd be so dialed in to I don't know if I would be running around doing. I'm just saying, me personally, they can do what they want.
Go ahead, Sonny.
I think Tommy has a point there, but at the same time, Super Bowl or bust is what the Buffalo Bills this season.
No, that's what we put on them.
Is all about.
That's not what they put on them. That's what we put on them.
Well, I'm sure they have high expectations, Mikey, as well.
This is where my point comes in: is they're promoting the Buffalo Bills. You got Josh Allen and Kyle Brandt's Basement. I love that show. I tune in. I'm gonna watch that all the time because I want to interested to hear what Josh Allen has to say. And then I go and I subscribe to Von Miller's vlogs and watching them, the decision and all that. It's cool because it sheds a light on the Buffalo Bills as an organization. In a way, it's a plus. But at the same time, as a player, if that's getting in the way of your game plan of the week or your mindset, then maybe they do need to dial it back. But at the same time, they're promoting the Buffalo Bills. They're saying, hey, guys, Buffalo's not so bad. It's a place for free agents to come here. Let's win. OBJ, come on, come sign. We don't have to beat around the bush. We could get OBJ right now because Von Miller is, we need him. And this kind of stuff, but that stuff they're doing may help the Bills, promote, we're Buffalo and, people, free agents are going to want to come here because of the culture and because of the personnel that we have in the locker room. So it can be a plus, but at the same time, maybe it is getting in the way a little bit. And we did play the last 2 weeks. We played like crap. I mean, the Green Bay ran the ball all over us. The Jets ran the ball over us. So,
yeah. To Steve Lynn's point, I'm not saying that because of I was asking the question, but as far as after the bye week, which by the way, we did this last season, and I'll keep continuing to bring it up because it's the same fucking thing. We looked just as bad last season, and we won our opening bye week game as we always do, but we looked bad doing it. And then just like we did last season, when we came on after the fucking Dolphins game, and we all said the same thing. Trust me, I'll go back and watch it. Oh, man, it was rust. I'm sure we'll be fine next week. Thank God we played the Jaguars. And we fucking stunk it up against the Jaguars. Same thing with the Jets. Same thing. And we played bad the next 2 games. Remember? I know you guys remember. We lost to the Patriots.
Yep.
And then we lost to Tampa. And then we went on a winning streak once we got our act together. So I'm just curious on what happens during the bye week where we come out and stumble out of the gate. I don't understand it. And I'm not saying it's the podcast thing because they've been doing it all season. I was just bringing that up as far as, okay, you're not playing your best ball right now. Do you dial it back? Is it something that's maybe interfering with them a little bit? Are they not having the same mentality as they were early on in the season where every game matters? We're not looking ahead at each opponent. We don't even know our schedule. Remember that team? Remember when they were saying we don't even know the next game?
You're getting too deep into the minutia, dude. It's a long season. There's ebbs and flows. We're on the downslope now.
Coming from the guy who complains through text that now you're the calmest, cool dude that everything's fine in Buffalo land. You guys have no idea the text I get from this guy. Don't let Mikey, the guy below me, fool you one bit. Because if I pull him up now, you're going to think I'm the calm, cool, collective guy. And this is the crazy guy below me because he's the one that is always like, oh my, what the fuck? What's going on? Don't even go there, Mikey. You know it. I know it. That you do, right? But you know it and I know it. That
I'm
these
a
last
little
2
irrational on
weeks,
game day. It happens.
we went live, Sonny, just to give you a heads up. Me and Mikey went live after the Green Bay game. Go back and watch that film. Mikey and me were very upset. We won the game. And people were even in the chat going, why are you so gloom? I don't understand. Why are you guys frustrated? We won the game. And me and Mikey were like, hey, we didn't like what we saw. That was a shitty win. We won. We'll take it. But look what happened the very following week. That's why me and Mikey were concerned. And it came to true. We did not play up. Listen, I'll ask you this. Mikey, are we a better team than the Jets? Even though we lost, do you believe we are a better team than the Jets?
Oh, absolutely. I think we're a better team than the Dolphins too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep,
So we did not play up to our potential, right? Players, every single player, including our kicker, did not play up to his potential. I don't know why. I don't know what it has to do with the bye week, but we need to correct that. And is that coaching? I think it's everything. And I think it starts this week, Mikey, against the Vikings. It's time to play some football. That's what I meant about the pocket. That's where I'm going with this. I think they need to get back on track. Another loss, Mikey, I'm just saying, where we look bad. Now, that would be 3 games in a row, even though we won one of them, that we are looking like a bad. And I don't think that's going to be the case, but we need to get back on track against the Vikings.
We hope that
at home, we have to.
Yeah, we hope that
we have to. I hope not either. But we need to get back on track. We have to get back on track. This is the game to do it, and I'll tell you why. You're going against a 7-1 ball club. This is not Cleveland. If this was the Cleveland game and we won, I'd be like, that's a bad team, right? It's a win-win. But I want to see us now. Mind you, Minnesota is a sneaky 7-1. I don't think they're as good as a record sounds, but they are still 7-1.
Mm-hmm.
We beat a 7-1 team. We are back, feeling good about ourselves. We just beat a 7-1 team, right? We're back to now. We're 7-2 instead of 6-3. We play the Browns at home again. Now we could potentially go to 8-2. Now we're starting to cook again. But you can't lose to the Vikings, then play the Browns after another bad loss. I'm just saying if we do lose, then that's where stuff starts to get really bad, in my opinion, right? Because now you still got your AFC East games coming up, the Patriots twice, the Dolphins again, the Jets again. By the way, we're 0-2 in the division. Not good. Got to clean that shit up. So these two games, in my opinion, being at home are very important. Mikey?
I don't disagree. Don't disagree at all. I think we need to go out and see the Bills that we thought they were going to be. They played a couple sloppy games.
Yep.
They lost.
Yep.
At the end of the day, am I nervous going into this game? Yes, I am. Am I going to be irrational come game day tomorrow? Tommy, you bet your ass. Your text from me. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. What the fuck is going on?
I'm an irrational woman when the Bills start playing. I just turn into
Why is Alan throwing an 85-yard when he knows his
own? I turn into Michelle when the Bills start playing. It just doesn't work.
Why is Ken Dorsey calling a 90-yard first play?
Right? Play smart. You need 3.5 yards of play to get a first down.
That's right.
We can do that. So.
That's right. And Singletary, by the way, is more than Cable. He averages, I think, 4.6.
When we started going good last year is when we started using Singletary.
Right. 100%. And Mikey, you are 100% correct. And Singletary actually had a very good last 5 games of that season.
Opened the offense up.
Very good. You are 100% right. That's why I'm saying you have to, if you're not going to get them involved early, which is whatever, get them involved, period. Somewhere in that game, get them involved. I don't care if it's the third or fourth quarter, but you got to start running. You can't abandon ship totally. And I think that's where Ken Dorsey is having a problem. I think he just gets I don't know. And also too, I really wonder if Josh calls a lot of audibles and audibles out of him. I really do wonder.
Yeah.
Checks out. Yeah. I really wonder. They're never going to tell you.
Hey, stop checking out of the runs, you dummy.
Right. Give that ball up. Let's start running in the third quarter when the defense is tired. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I mean, it's a long. Listen, the good news is we're in first. We're in first AFC. We have a lot of games left. We have a lot of things that are fixable. Right? The tackling, the defensive, the run blocking. The pass blocking could be, I don't think run blocking, forget it. It's not going to be fixed, but the pass blocking can be fixed a little bit. The run defense could be fixed, right? Because we weren't a bad team against the run weeks 1 through 6. I think everything could be fixed except for that run blocking. Even the pass blocking, I think, could be better than what it's been. Okay. Other than that, we can get back on track, but we cannot play sloppy football. Cannot do it. Kick the ball out of bounds. Like missing field goals.
That really bothered you last week, didn't it?
Bro, anytime, yes, because you know why? It's the second time he's done it this season. It's unacceptable. It's like a guy missing an extra point. I can't. You don't want to know another one that it's really bothers the shit out of me? Deion Dawkins and his goddamn penalties when we're driving or a big play and he holds. It's always Deion. I don't know why. And he's our best offensive lineman, but he's always the number called. Always. We had a beautiful pass to Diggs that would have probably changed the game. Who knows? Last week, right? Beautiful catch by Diggs and Deion Dawkins holding. It erased everything, Mikey. Everything. Then Josh gets hurt on the very next play. Right? And that's how the game went. They're drive killers. They're drive killers every time. Deion is responsible for like 90% of those. I don't know why. He has to clean it up. You've been in the league too long. You know when the game's when an important drive is necessary, don't freaking hold, man. That drove me nuts too last week, Mikey. Absolutely insane. Stupid, dumb penalty. And by the way, we didn't even have a lot of penalties last week. But the ones that we did have, Stupid. Boneheaded. No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about missing extra points in general. Drive me nuts. By the way, that 55-yard. I know that you said it is a long, but it's not in today's NFL. That's not really considered like extremely a long kick, and there was absolutely no wind, nothing. That was a very makeable kick. We don't have Steve Hoshka of the last season he was with us anymore. He's a good kicker. He should make that field goal. Like, I should feel comfortable enough with Tyler Bass going in with a, good wind conditions making a field goal. I'm sorry. I'm not going to give him a pass there. That's a makeable kick. That's all I'm saying. And kicking it out of bounds is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the one that I can't stand for. Can't kick it out of bounds.
Twice in the season. It's like once, okay. Like you miss an extra point once or twice in the season, I guess. You still shouldn't do that.
It's not like the extra points are what they used to be. Now
they're not, but you still got it.
They're like
35.
35-yard field
32,
goals.
I think, 35, something like that.
Yeah.
They're still makeable, though. You still can't. It's still, that's your job.
You see people miss 35-yard field goals all the time.
You do, but not dead on. Remember, the ball's straight ahead. Like, there's no...
it's perfectly in between the hats.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's set up to be made. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, and he doesn't. One thing about Bass, I don't think he's missed an extra point. Or maybe he has, maybe one this season.
Yeah, he missed. I think he's missed one.
Right?
No, he's actually. They just talked
or
about
perfect
it.
so far.
He's still perfect. He has the longest active streak because
okay.
Missed his first
See,
one.
so exactly. So I'm cool with that. Like he's doing that. It's just man. And by the way, he's missed some long field goals this season. He missed one against I believe the Dolphins early on. 50-yard, 52, something like that. He's missed a couple long field goals this season. He's not like he hasn't been accurate 50 and above. I have to look, but I believe they said it in the game. He's missed like 2 or 3 already. So that's not like great. Yeah, you have to make those. So he's not money when it comes to 50 and above. He makes his like 35, 40.
Yeah, he has the leg for it. He just doesn't control it.
Right. You got to be better, bud. That's all I'm saying. Because, listen, he makes that field goal, then things are different. Right?
Wow. Scott's on one tonight. Allen grooms his mustache at halftime, the only adjustment he makes.
Yeah, shave that. By the way, shave that. That looks so bad, by the way, Allen. Like, I didn't mind the beard. That's fine. I was good with the beard, but the mustache is terrible. Get rid of that. Anyway.
Man. Maybe I'm just in a good mood tonight because
Mikey's in a good mood, man. Mikey's like, hey, man.
Whatever. I'm like,
make your damn field goal. You got one.
You know what it is?
Job.
You know what it is, Tommy? I didn't watch the game last week.
Yeah, dude. Exactly. See, at least he's honest. That's why I'm so worked up because I had to watch that atrocious game, and then I had to do a fucking show about
talk about it.
How atrocious it. And then I had to do another show on Monday. So yeah, man. Anyways, listen, guys, it's time for the score prediction. Okay. I want to know. I'll start with Mikey. Mikey, score prediction. I'm gonna give 2 different ones. I want to ask you 2 because you never know.
I did that last night.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you first. Let's give you the Keenum score.
So I had it 17-13 Bills with Casey Keenum playing.
Okay, Allen,
I had it 24-13.
Okay, Sonny, Keenum playing first.
21-17 Bills.
All right, Allen playing.
31-24 Buffalo.
Okay, so you're giving more points if Allen plays. We're giving up more. Okay. All right, fair enough. I'm going to say Keenum plays. Very close game. 21-17. Very close game. I think if Allen plays, I'm going to say 33-17. Same score as the defense is not going to give up more points because Allen wouldn't make sense to me. 33-17. And I will say this, one more thing you have to do in this game. Stop turning the ball over and stop turning the ball over, especially in the red zone. Unacceptable. Another thing.
Scott, yes, Elam is hurt. He's not going to play this week. He was
red zone. Yeah, red zone has to improve. By the way, guys, has to because I'll tell you why. Yeah.
Scott, look at that.
Oh, he's choosing
Scott-
the Vikings 99-0. Jeez, he's
Wow,
always.
Scott is really upset with the Bills right
Yeah,
now.
he is very, very, very upset with very. I will say this: the red zone's been bad, but now we're not even scoring field goals. Like we're turning the ball over. Like I'll take a field goal right now. You know what I mean? Like stop with the turning over the ball. That's by the way, twice in 2 weeks. McKenzie against Green Bay, Josh Allen against the Jets. The interception. Can't have that. Cannot have that.
And it's actually 3 weeks because you go back to the KC game. It was McKenzie
you're right.
Yeah, and then
I forgot.
They also tripped themselves on the 1 yard line. And
I totally forgot about that.
It actually goes back
3 weeks on. Yes, can't have that, guys. So that has to be cleaned up. Whatever you got to do. By the way, Duke Johnson has been called up. Mikey said it, and I totally forgot about it, but that's very interesting.
It's
odd. So now you have
why?
Yeah, I don't get that one
either. It's confusing, but there has to be a reason. Either a player, either a player's hurt on special teams or something, or they're not going to use Hines much in this game, or they see something. Are you really
going to dress 5 running backs? So who's going to be inactive if he plays?
I don't know. This has to be. I think this has to be something with
really
matchup. They have to see something in the Vikings defense that they like Duke out there. I don't know what, but. And maybe a player doesn't play. Maybe they scratch a player that normally would play. I don't know. Maybe you don't see Cook. Yeah, maybe you don't see Cook. It's confusing. But anyways, guys, I'll be doing a post game. Me and Mikey at 4:30 tomorrow, so we will be live, win or lose. Right? Hopefully a win. And hopefully we're in better moods because I can't keep doing these podcasts all pissed off. I got to be happy. So for Sonny, any last words before we get out of here, Mr. Alaska?
I'm going to be watching the game just like you. I have to wake up at 9 a.m. to watch the game.
Look at this. True fan.
Be on Fox.
9 a.m.
Never missed the game. Going back to the Jim Kelly days. My last words is it's going to be interesting to see who gets the quarterback start. I think it's going to be Josh Allen. And I think the defense is going to finally stop the run tomorrow. I have a good feeling about that. And we're going to look good, better than ever come Monday. And we'll have a good post-game show. I'll be definitely tuning in. And
yes, Sonny.
I'm positive. I'm confident in our team.
I like the dedication.
I believe it.
Love it.
9 a.m. guys. I love the dedication. Yeah, I don't remember. I think the last time I got up that early was for the Bills Jaguars game in like London, and we lost.
Last time you got up at 9 a.m.
Well, for a football game, for Buffalo game.
Okay.
Remember that game? That was like 4 years ago or 5 years. We had Tyrod Taylor. No, it was longer than that.
It was
5,
earlier
6 years
for me
ago.
Because I'm on the West Coast, so it's games normally start at 10 for me.
It was early as shit. Remember they played in London or whatever. It was, and we lost.
I'll be sure to be texting you throughout the game tomorrow, Tommy, and let you know how I'm feeling.
That was like 7 years ago. I'm talking about 4 years ago. It was like 7 years ago.
EJ Manuel starting.
No, it was Tyrod Taylor. It was Taylor.
EJ. It was EJ.
Really? Okay, damn, that was that long. You sure about that?
Yeah, that long ago, and we lost to Jacksonville.
Okay, damn. I know. I thought it was Tyrod, but okay. Either way, we lost. We looked like shit. And I got up early. So, anyways, guys, once again, Backdoor Bills talk is not what I do. This is for Jason and Sonny, but I'm filling in because the channel is the podcast is moving to Mondays at 7. And Sonny probably won't make it because he lives in Alaska. So we're going to put Sonny in a new show possibly, and I'll give you guys updates on Twitter on that. Other than that, we will see you post game, me and Mikey at 4:30 tomorrow. Thank you for coming into tonight's show. Go Bills. We are out of here. Bills Mafia #1. Peace out.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Say go Bills, Sonny, or I'm not going to hit the end.
Go Buffalo. Hey.
There you go.